And a very warm welcome to today's live stream. My name is Uzair, and it is 17th Jan 2023, 3 p.m. in the UK. Every weekday on a Tuesday and Friday, I go live at this time and cover topics such as Google Ads, YouTube ads, video ads, online digital marketing, anything and everything to generate more leads or sales. So, as always, I'll cover a particular topic today, which is quite interesting because a lot of you get confused as to which ones to use. And I'm talking about attribution models. We're going to talk about what the best one, the pros and cons of each attribution model, and which one you should use. So before we get started, if you're new here, the format of these sessions is very friendly and informal. I'll cover today's topic, and then towards the end of the session, I will take any questions if they have been put across to me. So please put the questions, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and I should get them over here on my screen, and I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge and ability. Okay, let me share my screen. Uh, okay. Okay, you should be able to see my screen. Yes, it is working. Fine. All right. So before I get started, I just want to um, share this with you that I will be in Las Vegas next week, and I'm talking at the Affiliate Summit West. So if you're in or around Vegas and you're attending the Affiliate Summit West, then please do join in. It's one of the biggest marketing events for marketeers, and there's some great speakers at this event. It's a 3-day event, so I hope you can make it and come and say hello to me. All right. Da- da. So let's get started with the attributions, the conversion attributions, because you will see in your Google Ads account, we have the last click attribution, first click, linear, time decay, position based, and data driven. So there are 6 different attribution models, and I'll cover each one of them in a bit of detail, and then you can decide which one is the right one for you. There is no such thing as the right one or the wrong one. As always, I would say test it and see which is working the best for you or your clients. So let's start with the last one first, which is the last click attribution. So as the name suggests, this model attributes 100% of the conversion to the last ad click that occurred before the conversion. Okay, you guys can't see it properly. Let me get this sorted out. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so it's the last click before the ad that gets all the attribution. So it's kind of like the easiest analogy which I always give out is imagine a game of football, or for our friends in the US, soccer. So we got a team of 11 players, striker or the person who's, let me rephrase this, or the player, right, better word, or the striker or the player who scores that goal gets the credit. All right, it's 100% of the credit goes to that player. But what about the other player or players who pass the ball to that player or the striker. They don't get any credit. And the same thing happens over here. If other ads helped that conversion, but the someone clicked on that last ad before that conversion, gets all the. So the pros and cons is simplicity, easy to understand and implement. Right. The con is it doesn't give credit to all the touch points or to all the other ads or the players that led to that conversion, which I think is a bit unfair. But hey ho, there you go. And this used to be the this used to be the uh, default attribution in Google Ads. It's not my favorite, but that's my um, opinion. A lot of companies, marketeers, agencies still do use last click, but we have not used last click for a long, long time. Okay, so here's an example of you own a restaurant called Ristorante Abigail in Florence, Italy. A customer finds your site by clicking on your ads after performing each of these searches. So the first search was about restaurant Tuscany, restaurant followed by restaurant Florence, 3-star Florence, and then 3-star restaurant Abigail Florence. So you got one, two, three, four searches that person made before, or that lady made before she converted and made a reservation. So she makes a reservation after clicking on the ad that appeared with this one. So this is the converting keyword. So in the last click attribution model, this is going to get the 100% of the credit, none of the first three. So if she hadn't seen this one or that one, she wouldn't have gone on to search for this one. So, but this is how what it is. So that's why we've got all these different attribution models. First click is the complete opposite to the last click. As the name suggests, is the first click, which gets 100% of the attribution. So it's kind of like the goalkeeper or the goalie kicks the ball up front, and if somebody scores at the other end, the goalie gets the 100% credit because he or she kicked the ball up front. If that goalie kicked the ball, the goal wouldn't have been scored. So that is the first click attribution. It gives credit to the first touch point that led to the conversion of that goal. And the con is it doesn't give credit to all the touch points that led to the conversion. Because we know, if you think of a football game, the goalkeeper will pass the ball or kick the ball to its teammates, and then the defenders will pass it to the midfielders, and so on, and the ball will travel upfield, eventually strikers or the players playing up front, and they hopefully they will make the conversion of goal. So in here, in this case, it's only the goalkeeper. So we go back to example again of this restaurant. So in this case, restaurant Tuscany is the first ad which got clicked. So the first click attribution model, the first keyword restaurant Tuscany would receive 100% of the conversion. Okay. Then we move on to the linear attribution. So this model is kind of very fair. In fact, it's the most fairest of the lot because it attributes equally all the credit to all the ad clicks which happened before that conversion, right? So it gives credit to all the touch points. So the whole team, all the players in the team get the credit. It doesn't take into account the relative importance of each touch point. All right, it just distributes equally the whole credit. So we're going back to this example of our restaurant. In the linear attribution model, each keyword would share equal credit, 25% for the conversion if there were 4 touches. I think I need to delete that one from here. So if we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 ad clicks, each one of them get 25% of that attribution of that conversion. Then we've got the time decay. This model attributes more credit to the ads which is closest to the conversion. So it gives more credit to touch points that are closer in time to the conversion. Credit is distributed using a 7-day half line. In other words, an ad interaction 8 days before a conversion gets half as much credit as an ad interaction 1 day before a conversion. So the ad which has got the click 1 day before is going to get the most conversion, the most attribution. The con is it doesn't take into account the relative importance of each click or that touch point. So all these different attribution models, you need to see how your account or your campaign are set up. So if it's a long sales cycle, so let's say someone making a purchase for a car or a buying a house, it's going to take weeks, if not months, before somebody's going to decide what they are going to, where and when are they going to make that purchase from. So they will be in that cycle of constantly searching and surfing the internet, clicking on ads from time to time. And in that case, we need to work out, okay, which click are the most important for us? Are they those clicks which are at the top of the funnel or the middle of the funnel or the bottom of the funnel? Well, if the top of the funnel is not being attributed, they will never come across you. So as I say always, it's the three things which helps get a conversion is first of all is knowing you, liking you, and trusting you. So know, like, and trust, right? So you need to decide, oh, my first click is really important to me because without that, they're not going to know of me, and so on. So this is why it's really important that you understand all these different attribution models and then decide which is the most relevant for you. In the case of a dentist, a plumber, a locksmith, or a car breakdown recovery service, these are emerge or any emergency kind of service is going to be that first click because you're not going to wait for somebody to come back to you or keep on searching until you get the best price. You are in an emergency, you want somebody to come to your home, stop that leaking tap. You're broken down in the middle of the road somewhere, and you want somebody to come and tow your car away as quickly as possible. You got kids in the car, um, dentist, you got really bad toothache. You want to get that first appointment anywhere you can get from a dentist. Locksmith, you lost your keys, you walked out of your home or your car, and you want somebody straight up, right? You're not going to keep filling in forms or phoning people who to give you the best price. You're going to get that first person who can answer the call and do the job. And obviously, again, the price is important. But if you can afford that and it's within your budget, then yes, you will not go to somebody else if somebody's charging you a really ridiculous price. But if it's reasonable, you're going to convert on that first click on that ad. So then on those kind of business models or businesses, for those businesses, you go on the first click straight up because that's the most important. That is the only click you're going to get. First or the last is the same one. You most of those conversions happen straight up. Yeah, you're not going to be looking around and trying to get the best deal if you are stuck somewhere. So going back to our restaurant example, time decay attribution model, the keyword 3-star restaurant Abigail Florence would receive the most credit because it was searched closest to that conversion. The restaurant Tusky keyword would receive the least credit since it was the first one. So restaurant Tuscany is the first, And the last one, which is the 3-star Abigail Florence. Let me check. I have put in the right ones. Yes, it is the right one. It's going to get the most um, credit for that conversion. Uh, okay. And if you've got any questions, please start putting them in, and I will answer them towards the end of the uh, session once I finish these attribution models. Next one is the position-based attribution. So this model is a little bit different, unlike all the other ones, because it will attribute 40% of the conversion credit to the first and the last click, and the remaining 20 in the middle clicks. So the 40 up front, 40 at the end, or the last one, and then whatever, however many clicks you get in the middle is distributed equally, 20% amongst all those middle clicks. So it gives more credit to the first and the last touch points, which are typically considered the most important. As I said earlier on, if they don't know you at the top of the funnel, and then at the bottom of the funnel where you want that conversion to happen, um, if you want to give those clicks the most credit, then position based is the attribution model you need to use. And the con is it doesn't take into account the relative importance of the middle touch point, which most of these attribution models don't take into account. So for brand awareness and for remarketing, or for campaigns where you are giving a direct call to action that, hey, buy my stuff or sign up for my service or whatever it may be, then again, position based is pretty good. So going back to our example of the restaurant, so you should know this by now. The first and the last one would get 40%. So the first one is Restaurant Tuscany, and the last one, 3-star Restaurant Abigail Florence. So Restaurant Tuscany and 3-star Restaurant Abigail Florence would get 40% each, while Restaurant Florence and these two in the middle, 3-star Restaurant Florence, will get 10% each credit. Fairly straightforward. I've tried to explain this in very simple English and without any technical um, jargon, so that you understand fully um, why these are different. Then we come to the last one, which is the DDA, or the data driven attribution. This used to be only whitelisted for accounts which had a lot of Google Ads budget, literally into hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. And luckily for everybody else, for small account owners, this is now the default. This will be the first thing which you will see if your account is whitelisted, that it is on DDA, the data driven attribution. And I've got a fair bit over here because it's important, so that we don't miss out on anything, and I've written it down for you guys. So before making a purchase or completing another valuable action on your website, people may click or interact with several of your ads, right? Which is fine for long sales cycle type of businesses or purchases. Typically, all credit for the conversion is given to the last ad customers interacted with. But was it really that ad that made them decide to choose your business? This is the question, right? Most people say yes, the last click or the last ad made them choose your business. So, distributing the credit for the conversion based on your past data for this conversion action, DDA gives credit for conversions based on how people engage with your various ads and decide to become your customers. This is really important. It uses data from your account to determine which keywords, ads, and campaigns have the greatest impact on your business goals. Data driven attribution looks at your website, store visit, analytics, conversions from search, YouTube, and display ads. And it also looks at obviously the shopping as well. But what this is from the Google Support Center, and this is why it is really important that it is also looking at analytics data. How people engage. Did they spend more time on your site? Did they add to cart and abandon? Did they scroll to the bottom of the page? Any kind of interactions. And this is why it's important that you have analytics set up properly with all these event tracking. Did they click on the video ad? Did they subscribe to my newsletter? And any kind, did they click on the WhatsApp button or the live chat? All these interactions are very important, especially for DDA, because the reason why it was only whitelisted for big accounts is because it needs a lot of data points. And with big accounts, you can get these data very quickly. So it uses data from your account to determine which keywords and all these have the greatest impact on your business goals. So data-driven attributions, okay, we've covered that. It looks at from other models in that it uses your account's data to calculate the actual contribution of each interaction across the conversion path. Uh, The path or the conversion, the journey to the conversion, the path is it's not a straightforward, it's not linear, it's a very complicated journey these days. It used to be simple, somebody come to the website, they will decide whether they want to buy it or not. Right now, they're going to go here, then they go there, then they come back, then they go here, all over the internet, and then they decide that they are going to convert. So this is why, in my humble opinion, DTA is the model you should be using. Because it is now the default attribution model for most conversion actions. So the pros of the of this ad model is it uses data and machine learning to determine the relative importance of each touch point, and Google has got it knows all the touch points which are happening in the background if we can't even see it. Right? It has got millions of these data points which then it evaluates and then decides okay how much credit each um, ad or a click is going to get. And the con is it requires a significant amount of data and may be more complex to set up and maintain. So it needs a lot of data. So let's talk about the data requirements a little bit as to what Google say about data requirements. So as said earlier on, most conversion actions are eligible for data-driven attribution regardless of conversion or interaction volume now. It used to be for high volume, but not anymore because this is what they bought in interaction volume. Previously, I believe it was just the conversion volume. But now the algorithm and the machine learning has evolved so fast and so quickly that now they can offer this to any account. Only eligible conversion actions can be upgraded to DTA. If you're running first click or last click, then you will see that it is enabled. If it's grayed out, that means your account is not eligible for data-driven attribution. So some types of conversion actions need at least 300 conversions and 3,000 ad interactions in supported networks and within 30 days. So that's within a time period as well. This is what I was saying to you earlier on that we needed a lot of data. And the only way we can get a lot of data is by spending big and spending high. So they need 300 conversions and 3,000 ad interactions within 30 days. So what happens if you don't get it? Well, here's what happens. Once you're using DDA for these types of conversion actions, you won't be able to continue using this model if your data drops below 2,000 ad interactions or 200 conversions within 30 days. You'll receive an alert. So if you find that you go in your account, you put it on DD, and then it switches off to the last click, which it says your conversion action will be switched to the last click attribution model. It's not a bug. It's because of this. And that's why most people get frustrated and annoyed. Oh, I just changed this to DDA 2 days ago. Now it's gone back over here. Why does it keep happening? Then they're going to try and phone the Google support. And depends on who answers the phone, whether they know this or not. You might get different answers. But this is the actual fact. And the solution to that problem is that you've got to have over 3,000 ad interactions and 300 conversions per month for DDA to be fully utilized properly. If the data, if the decrease in data is unexpected, you may want to check your conversion tracking tag. So sometimes the tag falls off the website, or your webmaster is making some updates or changes, and the conversion tracking tag has been deleted by mistake. This is why your conversions have gone down, and then you will find that the status on your conversion actions page, your conversion action settings, and other account settings to make sure that everything is working properly is imperative. And you should have this as a workflow at least once a week, if not more, for somebody to check that the tag is working properly on the website. So if data driven attribution isn't available for a particular conversion action, select one of the other attribution models. You'll have to do that, obviously, unless you reach the 300 conversions per month. So in our example of that restaurant, in DDA attribution model, each keyword would receive part of the credit, depending on how much it contributed to driving that conversion. And it's important to note that the different attribution models may be more appropriate for different businesses and campaigns. And it's best to experiment with different models to see which one works best for you and your business. Okay, so that is all for the 6 attribution models. Hope you understood why you should be using a particular attribution model and what it means. Let me go back to the questions. I can see some of them have come through. If you would like me to answer any questions or you have any challenges or problems, then now is your time to put them in. But don't wait until the very last minute because there is a delay in the transmission and I may not see your question. All right. Uh, all right. Hi, Aisha. I'm getting click for exact search term but no inquiries. But few months ago had inquiries same landing page, not now. Um, Lots of things can happen, and also, as you said, that few months ago, it could be there's more competition. Other people are offering similar services, which I'm not saying is better than yours, but they have more choices and they're not converting and they're going with other people. Um, have a look at your search terms, the few going back few months and now, and see how different they are. If maybe because if you're search bidding on exact search terms, although exact match should be exact match, but it isn't exact match anymore in Google. Google will show you ads for close variants of your exact match and phrase match, right? So, so setting up exact may not be that you might think, oh, bidding on exact, and why are they showing my ads for some other search terms? So you got to keep a very close eye on the search terms, and if you find that there is very little intent on those search terms, add them as negatives. Keep adding them as negatives, and eventually you will find that you have set up your campaign so tightly that Google hasn't got that wiggle to show as for other non-exact mesh types, and you will start to get better results. So that's what I would do if it was you. Why does your bounce rate is not showing even if they are clicks? I'm not sure what your question is. If you are trying to look at the bounce rate in Google Ads, then you need to go to columns and then check that box and you will see the bounce rate. Otherwise, the best place to see bounce rate is in analytics or GA4. Best strategy for furniture brands in Google Shopping plus search ads. So furniture brands, we have run a fair bit for branded search terms. So especially the designer names, which I believe you are referring to, because these are all the designers who design those furnitures, and the that particular furniture is named after that designer's name. So bid on those brand terms aggressively, because everybody would be doing the same thing, and set up your search campaigns, especially for non-branded search terms. Now, some most of these designer furnitures are fairly expensive, right? So you don't want your ads to show up for when somebody is searching for IKEA furnitures, which is fairly low cost. I'm not saying cheap, because I nothing wrong with IKEA. They make a great product, great quality at a great price. But for these branded furniture brands or designers, you need to have those um, keywords in that search term. So put everything as negative keywords if the search term does not have designer, luxury, replica, what else were there? Expensive. Those kind of keywords, you got to have it. That I want luxury furniture, bedroom furniture, or luxury bed, or luxury dining table, or luxury chairs, luxury, expensive, or modern is another word which we used to have, contemporary. So these 6 or 7 different words got to be on that search term for us to run ads. Otherwise, if they are not, put them in negative keywords, you are going to save a ton of money, because otherwise Google is going to show you ads to people who can't afford those branded and expensive furnitures. And you don't want to get those clicks, because people are going to click on your ads, and then when they see the price, they're going to freak out, and they're going to jump off your site looking for the cheap furniture or the low cost furniture. Um, Hi, John. Where is the best place to find help troubleshooting the tags and conversions? So the way we do this is via Google Tag Manager. We set up all our tags and conversion pixels or whatever it is in Tag Manager, whether it's Google Ads, Analytics, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter. Every tag we put it, even though we may not be running ads for these other channels, start collecting the data. It's free, and there's no harm, because you never know. You want to start a campaign next month on Twitter. At least you got some data which has come through from Twitter. Put all the tags there first of all, and then they have that really cool feature called the preview, and then you preview it, and you then check it. Did that tag fire on that page, or that action, like sometimes a button click, when you click the WhatsApp button or the call button, did that tag fire or not? So that's where I would go to. Other than that, you hire somebody um, to troubleshoot all the tags and set up the conversions properly. Obviously, you'll have to pay for their service, but if you need any help, we can offer that service as well. So get in touch with our through our website, and we can see what we can help you with. Cool. I think all the questions I have covered today. Yes, I have. Lovely. So thanks a lot for being here. I won't be here on Friday and next Tuesday, because due to my travels. So the next one would be on the 27th of January. So we will be putting up content on our YouTube channels and social media in the meantime, all the latest and the greatest from Las Vegas. So stay tuned over there. So till then, Have a great week and a productive one. And I look forward to seeing you on the 27th of Jan. Thanks a lot. Bye.